In the bustling corridors of the Intergalactic Academy, Zara, Kel, and Rin, three ambitious young aliens from different corners of the galaxy, gathered for the most thrilling adventure of their lives. They had been selected for a prestigious expedition to explore the legendary planet known as Earth, a world shrouded in mystery and danger. Excitement buzzed in the air as they boarded their sleek spacecraft, their hearts pounding with anticipation. As the engines roared to life, they exchanged eager glances, knowing that they were about to embark on a journey that would change their lives forever. With a final countdown, the ship blasted off into the vast expanse of space, leaving behind the familiar comforts of their home planet. Ahead lay the unknown, and Zara, Kel, and Rin were ready to embrace it with open arms. After a long journey through the depths of space, the moment of truth arrived as their spacecraft began its descent towards Earth. Zara, Kel, and Rin gathered around the viewing port, their hearts racing with anticipation as they caught their first glimpse of the fabled planet below. Earth loomed large and majestic, its swirling clouds and vibrant colors captivating their senses. But as they descended further, they encountered turbulence unlike anything they had experienced before. The ship shook and rattled as it pierced through the planet's atmosphere, a testament to the harsh conditions awaiting them below. With nerves of steel, Zara, Kel, and Rin braced themselves for the tumultuous descent, their eyes fixed on the rugged terrain rushing up to meet them. They knew that their journey was just beginning, and they were prepared to face whatever challenges Earth had in store. As their spacecraft hurtled towards the surface of Earth, Zara, Kel, and Rin gripped their seats tightly, bracing for impact. With a deafening roar, the ship slammed into the unforgiving terrain, sending shockwaves rippling through their bodies. Metal groaned and sparks flew as the vessel skidded to a halt, coming to rest amidst a tangle of trees and rocky outcrops. For a moment, silence hung heavy in the air, broken only by the sound of their labored breathing. Slowly, they unbuckled themselves from their seats, assessing the damage with wide eyes and pounding hearts. The ship was badly damaged, its once sleek exterior now marred by dents and fractures. "We're alive," Zara breathed, her voice trembling with relief, "but we're stranded." Kel nodded grimly, his gaze scanning the wreckage. "Our ship took a beating, but it's not beyond repair. We'll need to salvage what we can and find a way to signal for help." Rin, ever the optimist, forced a shaky smile. "At least we made it to the surface in one piece. Now we just have to figure out how to get back home." With determination burning in their hearts, Zara, Kel, and Rin set to work, their minds already racing with plans for survival in this unfamiliar and hostile environment. As the reality of their situation sunk in, Zara, Kel, and Rin surveyed the desolate landscape that stretched out before them. Towering cliffs loomed in the distance, their jagged peaks silhouetted against the alien sky. The air was thick with an unfamiliar scent, a heady mix of earth and vegetation that tickled their senses. "We're a long way from home," Kel muttered, his voice tinged with uncertainty. Zara nodded, her brow furrowed in thought. "We need to focus on survival. The first order of business is to find shelter and assess our supplies." Rin, ever the practical one, pointed towards a cluster of trees in the distance. "There's some cover over there. We should head that way and see if we can scavenge anything useful from the wreckage." With a shared sense of purpose, they set off towards the trees, their footsteps crunching on the rocky ground. The journey was arduous, their bodies still reeling from the crash, but they pressed on, fueled by determination and a fierce desire to overcome the odds stacked against them. As they reached the shelter of the trees, they found a small clearing where the wreckage of their ship lay strewn about. Despite the damage, they managed to salvage a few essential supplies, including a survival kit and a communication device. "We may be stranded," Zara said, her voice tinged with grim determination. "But we're not giving up. We'll find a way to signal for help and get back home no matter what it takes." With newfound resolve, Zara, Kel, and Rin set about making their makeshift shelter as comfortable as possible, knowing that their journey was far from over, and that the true test of their strength and resilience was yet to come. As Zara, Kel, and Rin ventured further into the unfamiliar wilderness of Earth, they encountered strange and wondrous creatures unlike anything they had ever seen. Birds with colorful plumage soared through the sky, their melodious calls filling the air. Small mammals scurried through the underbrush, their eyes curious yet wary. But amidst the beauty of this alien world, they stumbled upon something that sent shivers down their spines. Half buried in the dirt, they found the remnants of a recent kill, the bones of a large animal picked clean by scavengers. Zara's heart sank as she realized the implications. This world is more dangerous than we thought. We need to be cautious. Kel nodded in agreement, his eyes scanning the surrounding terrain for any signs of danger. We can't afford to let our guard down. Earth may be beautiful, but it's also unforgiving. Rin, ever the curious one, crouched down to examine the bones. I wonder what kind of creature did this. It must be formidable to take down something so large. With a sense of foreboding hanging over them, Zara, Kel, and Rin continued their journey, their senses on high alert for any further signs of danger lurking in the shadows of this mysterious world. As they ventured deeper into the wilderness of Earth, Zara, Kel, and Rin found themselves confronted with the harsh reality of survival. With their supplies dwindling and the need for sustenance growing ever more pressing, they were forced to turn to the age-old practice of hunting for food. Armed with makeshift weapons fashioned from the wreckage of their ship, they stalked through the dense undergrowth in search of prey. Their senses were attuned to the slightest rustle of leaves or snap of twigs, their instincts honed by the necessity of survival. After hours of tracking, they finally spotted their quarry, a small herd of deer grazing in a clearing ahead. With silent communication, they crouched low to the ground, slowly closing the distance between themselves and their prey. With a sudden burst of speed, they launched their attack, their weapons striking true as they brought down one of the deer. But their victory was short-lived as the rest of the herd scattered into the forest, disappearing into the shadows. Breathless and exhilarated, Zara, Kel, and Rin approached their fallen quarry, their hands trembling with a mix of adrenaline and exhaustion. As they prepared to butcher the animal for meat, they couldn't help but feel a sense of triumph, a reminder that they were capable of surviving in this harsh and unforgiving world. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the rugged landscape of Earth, Zara, Kel, and Rin knew that they faced their greatest challenge yet, surviving the perilous night. With darkness descending like a thick blanket, they gathered together, their senses on high alert for any sign of danger. They knew that Earth's nocturnal predators would soon emerge from their hiding places, hungry and relentless in their hunt for prey. The crackle of a nearby fire offered them some comfort, its flickering flames casting dancing shadows on the surrounding trees. But even the warmth of the fire couldn't dispel the sense of unease that hung heavy in the air. As the hours wore on, the sounds of the night grew louder, the eerie howl of distant wolves, the rustle of leaves as unseen creatures moved through the underbrush. Every snap of a twig sent shivers down their spines, every rustle of leaves causing their hearts to race. But despite the dangers that lurked in the darkness, Zara, Kel, and Rin refused to let fear paralyze them. With weapons at the ready and eyes scanning the shadows, they remained vigilant, determined to protect each other and survive until the first light of dawn. As the night wore on, the tranquility of the forest was shattered by the sudden onslaught of predators hungry for blood. With primal roars and snarls, they emerged from the shadows, their eyes glinting with feral hunger as they closed in on their unsuspecting prey. Zara, Kel, and Rin sprang into action, their weapons at the ready as they fought tooth and nail against their relentless attackers. The air was thick with the clash of metal on metal, the screams of the wounded, and the desperate cries of those fighting for their lives. In the chaos of battle, they found strength in each other, their bonds forged in the crucible of survival. With every blow they landed, every foe they vanquished, they grew more determined to emerge victorious against the odds stacked against them. But the battle was far from over, and as the night wore on, their energy began to wane, their bodies battered and bruised from the relentless onslaught. With every passing moment, they fought harder, their will to survive burning bright in the darkness. And when the first light of dawn finally broke through the trees, casting long golden rays across the battlefield, Zara, Kel, and Rin stood victorious amidst the wreckage of their fallen foes. They had survived the night, their spirits unbroken, their determination unwavering in the face of adversity. The morning sun bathed the landscape in a warm golden light, revealing the full extent of the battle's aftermath. Zara, Kel, and Rin stood amidst the fallen predators, their bodies sore and weary but their spirits unbroken. With a renewed sense of determination, they knew they had to press on and find a more secure location. The trio gathered their remaining supplies and set out, navigating the rugged terrain that lay before them. They climbed steep hills, crossed fast-flowing rivers, and traversed dense forests, each step a testament to their resilience and tenacity. As they journeyed deeper into Earth's wilderness, they encountered treacherous obstacles that tested their physical and mental limits. Jagged rocks threatened to tear their clothing and skin, while dense undergrowth slowed their progress to a crawl. The oppressive heat of the midday sun beat down on them, sapping their strength and making every step a struggle. Despite the harsh conditions, they pressed on, driven by the knowledge that their survival depended on finding a safe haven. Kel led the way, his keen eyes scanning the terrain for any sign of danger or refuge. Zara and Rin followed closely behind, their senses attuned to the sounds and movements of the forest around them. Hours turned into days as they continued their arduous journey, their bodies growing lean and muscular from the constant exertion. They foraged for food, hunted when they could, and relied on each other for support and encouragement. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of relentless travel, they stumbled upon a hidden valley nestled between towering cliffs. The lush, verdant landscape was a stark contrast to the harsh terrain they had traversed, offering a glimmer of hope in their seemingly endless struggle for survival. "This could be the sanctuary we've been searching for," Zara said, her voice filled with awe and relief. Kel nodded, his eyes scanning the valley for any potential threats. "It looks promising, but we need to be cautious. We can't afford to let our guard down." Rin, ever the optimist, smiled brightly. "We've made it this far. Together we can handle whatever challenges come our way." As they settled into their new surroundings, Zara, Kel, and Rin took the opportunity to explore the hidden valley in search of resources and shelter. They soon discovered that the valley was teeming with life, from small animals and birds to an abundance of edible plants and fruits. Their spirits lifted by the bounty of the valley, they began to construct a makeshift camp, using the natural resources around them to build shelters and fortify their position. As they worked, they couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the brink of a major revelation. One afternoon, while exploring a series of caves along the valley's edge, Rin stumbled upon a set of ancient carvings etched into the stone walls. The intricate designs depicted scenes of battle and survival, with images of both humans and alien creatures locked in a struggle for dominance. "Zara, Kel, come take a look at this," Rin called out, his voice echoing through the cave. Zara and Kel hurried over, their eyes widening in amazement as they took in the detailed carvings. "These must be ancient records of Earth's history," Zara mused, her fingers tracing the lines of the carvings. "It looks like this planet has always been a battleground." Kel nodded, his mind racing with the implications. If these carvings are accurate, then Earth has been a death world for centuries. Its inhabitants have always had to fight for survival, just like us. As they continued to study the carvings, they uncovered more details about the planet's violent past. They learned that Earth's harsh environment had forged its inhabitants into formidable warriors, capable of withstanding even the most extreme conditions. "This explains so much," Rin said, his voice filled with awe. "Earth's reputation as a death world isn't just a myth. It's a testament to the resilience and strength of its inhabitants." With this newfound knowledge, Zara, Kel, and Rin felt a renewed sense of purpose. They realized that their journey was not just about survival, but about uncovering the truth behind Earth's fearsome reputation. Armed with this revelation, they were more determined than ever to conquer the challenges that lay ahead and return home with the incredible story of their adventure. With the revelation of Earth's history and its reputation as a death world weighing heavily on their minds, Zara, Kel, and Rin continued to explore the hidden valley, making it their temporary home. Despite the newfound sense of purpose, they knew they couldn't survive alone for much longer. Their supplies were dwindling, and the constant threat of predators kept them on edge. One day, while foraging near the valley's edge, they encountered a group of human survivors. The humans, a rugged and resourceful band, had also been stranded on Earth for some time and had adapted to its harsh conditions. Zara approached cautiously, her hands raised in a gesture of peace. "We're not here to harm you. We're explorers, stranded like you. Can we talk?" The leader of the human group, a grizzled man named Ethan, eyed them warily before nodding. "All right, let's talk. But keep your distance until we know we can trust you." Over a tense but cordial conversation, both groups shared their stories and realized they had much in common. They were all struggling to survive on this unforgiving planet, and an alliance could greatly improve their chances. Ethan extended a hand. "We could use the help. Join us and we can share our resources and knowledge." Zara, Kel, and Rin agreed, shaking hands with the human survivors. Together they began to pool their knowledge and resources, strengthening their camp and improving their chances of survival. With their newfound alliance, Zara, Kel, Rin, and the human survivors worked tirelessly to fortify their camp and gather supplies. The humans had managed to salvage some advanced technology from their own crashed ships, and with Kel's technical expertise, they began to devise a plan to signal for help and escape Earth. "We need to build a long-range communication device," Kel explained one evening around the campfire. "Something powerful enough to reach our home planets or any passing ships." Ethan nodded, his brow furrowed in thought. "We have some parts that might work, but we'll need to scavenge more from the surrounding area. It's risky, but it's our best shot." Over the next few days, they organized scouting missions to nearby crash sites, scavenging for usable parts. Each mission was fraught with danger, as Earth's predators and treacherous terrain constantly threatened their lives. During one such mission, Zara and Rin discovered an old, abandoned military bunker hidden deep in the forest. Inside, they found a trove of technology that could be crucial for their escape plan. "This is it," Zara said, her voice filled with excitement. "With these components, we can build a powerful transmitter." Back at the camp, Kel worked tirelessly to assemble the device, with Rin and the humans providing assistance. They faced numerous challenges, from technical malfunctions to sudden attacks by Earth's wildlife, but their determination never wavered. Finally, after days of relentless effort, the transmitter was ready. They gathered around it, their faces etched with hope and anticipation. Kel activated the device, his fingers dancing over the controls. "Let's hope this works." A high-pitched whine filled the air as the transmitter powered up, sending a signal out into the vastness of space. They waited, their breath held, hoping for a response. Hours passed with no sign of contact, but they refused to give up. As night fell, they took turns keeping watch, their eyes scanning the skies for any sign of rescue. Just as dawn began to break, a crackling sound came from the transmitter. A voice, distorted but unmistakable, echoed through the camp. "This is the Intergalactic Rescue Corps. We received your distress signal. Hold tight, we're on our way." Cheers erupted from the group, their spirits lifted by the promise of rescue. They had done the impossible, surviving on a death world and finding a way to signal for help. Now they just had to hold on a little longer and stay vigilant, knowing that their ordeal was nearly over. As the promise of rescue hung in the air, Zara, Kel, Rin, and the human survivors felt a renewed sense of hope and urgency. They doubled their efforts to fortify the camp and prepare for the arrival of the Intergalactic Rescue Corps. However, their activities did not go unnoticed by the native predators of Earth. One evening, as the group gathered around the fire to discuss their final preparations, a sudden, eerie silence fell over the camp. The usual sounds of the forest ceased, replaced by an unsettling quiet. Zara's eyes narrowed as she scanned the darkness, her instincts on high alert. "Something's not right," she whispered, gripping her makeshift weapon tightly. Without warning, a chorus of growls erupted from the surrounding trees. A pack of large, feral beasts emerged from the shadows, their eyes glowing with a predatory hunger. These were not the usual predators they had faced before. These creatures were larger, more aggressive, and coordinated. Ethan rallied the group, his voice steady despite the fear gripping his heart. "Everyone, get ready, protect the transmitter at all costs." The battle that ensued was fierce and chaotic. The creatures lunged at the camp with terrifying speed and strength, their jaws snapping and claws rending. Zara, Kel, and Rin fought with everything they had, their movements fueled by desperation and the will to survive. "Rin, behind you," Kel shouted, narrowly deflecting a beast's attack with a metal rod. Rin spun around, thrusting his spear into the creature's side. "Thanks, Kel. We've got to hold them off until help arrives." Zara, wielding a scavenged energy weapon, blasted another beast that was closing in on the transmitter. "We can't let them destroy our only chance of getting off this planet." The camp was a whirlwind of violence and chaos, but the group fought valiantly. Their bond, forged in the crucible of survival, gave them the strength to push back against the relentless onslaught. Slowly but surely they began to turn the tide, their combined efforts driving the creatures back. Just as the battle reached its peak, a powerful beam of light pierced the sky, illuminating the camp. The sound of engines roared overhead as the Intergalactic Rescue Corps ship descended, its weapons trained on the attacking beasts. "This is the Rescue Corps. Hold your ground. We're here to help," boomed a voice over the ship's loudspeakers. With the added firepower of the Rescue Corps, the remaining predators were quickly subdued or driven away. Exhausted but triumphant, Zara, Kel, Rin, and the human survivors watched as the last of the creatures fled into the night. The arrival of the Intergalactic Rescue Corps brought a wave of relief and hope to the weary survivors. Medics and soldiers quickly disembarked, tending to the wounded and securing the area. Captain Thorne, the leader of the rescue team, approached Zara, Kel, and Rin with a look of admiration. "You've done an incredible job surviving here," Thorne said, shaking their hands. "We'll get you all out of here soon." As the survivors began to relax, the medics conducted a thorough check of everyone's injuries. It was then that they discovered a grave injury that had gone unnoticed in the chaos. Rin, who had been fighting valiantly, had sustained a deep, fatal wound during the battle. "No! Rin!" Zara cried, rushing to his side as he sat against a tree, his face pale but calm. Rin smiled weakly, his eyes full of peace. "It's okay, Zara. We made it. You and Kel will get home. That's what matters." Kel knelt beside him, tears streaming down his face. "You can't leave us, Rin. We need you." Rin reached out, grasping their hands. "I'll always be with you in spirit. Promise me you'll make it back home and tell everyone what we discovered here." "We promise," Zara said, her voice choked with emotion. "We'll never forget you." As the medics tried to stabilize him, Rin's strength began to fade. He looked up at the sky, a serene smile on his lips. "I always wanted to see the stars from here. They're beautiful." With those final words, Rin's eyes closed, and his breathing ceased. Zara and Kel held him close, their hearts breaking at the loss of their dear friend and companion. Captain Thorne placed a comforting hand on their shoulders. "I'm sorry for your loss. He was a brave soul. We'll make sure his sacrifice is honored." The mood in the camp was somber as the survivors gathered to pay their respects to Rin. They built a small memorial in the valley, a testament to his courage and the bond they had shared. As they prepared to leave Earth, Zara and Kel knew that Rin's sacrifice would not be in vain. They had survived the death world, discovered its secrets, and formed an unbreakable bond. With heavy hearts and resolute spirits, they boarded the Rescue Corps ship, ready to return home and share their extraordinary tale. As the Rescue Corps ship ascended from Earth's surface, Zara and Kel sat quietly, their minds filled with memories of their time on the death world. The ship hummed with activity as medics tended to the wounded and engineers checked the ship's systems. The valley and the makeshift camp that had been their home for so long disappeared beneath the clouds, leaving them with a mixture of relief and sorrow. Captain Thorne joined them, a look of sympathy in his eyes. "We'll be entering hyperspace soon. You'll be back on your home planets in no time." Zara nodded, her gaze distant. "Thank you, Captain. We owe you our lives." Thorne smiled gently. "You owe your lives to your own resilience and bravery. From what I've heard, you all fought incredibly hard to survive." Kel glanced at Zara, then back at Thorne. "We've been through a lot. We lost good friends along the way." Thorne's expression grew somber. "Rin's sacrifice won't be forgotten. We'll make sure his story is told, along with yours." As the ship prepared for hyperspace, Zara and Kel found a quiet corner to rest. The gentle hum of the engines was a stark contrast to the constant tension and danger they had faced on Earth. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, they allowed themselves to relax, knowing they were finally safe. With a sudden jolt, the ship entered hyperspace, the stars outside the viewport stretching into long streaks of light. As they sped through the vastness of space, Zara and Kel closed their eyes, letting the exhaustion of their ordeal wash over them. After days of travel, the ship finally exited hyperspace, approaching a large space station orbiting a lush green planet. The announcement over the intercom informed them that they would be transferring to smaller ships to reach their respective home planets. Zara and Kel exchanged a glance, the realization of their impending separation hitting them hard. They had been through so much together, and the thought of parting ways was almost unbearable. As they disembarked, Captain Thorne approached them one last time. "Before you go, I want to offer you both a place in the Rescue Corps. You've shown exceptional courage and resilience. We could use people like you." Zara and Kel looked at each other, considering the offer. They had initially been desperate to return home, but now, after everything they had experienced, the idea of helping others in need resonated deeply with them. Kel spoke first, his voice steady. "We appreciate the offer, Captain. But I think we need some time to process everything that's happened, to honor Rin's memory and figure out our next steps." Thorn nodded understandingly. "Of course. Take all the time you need. The offer will remain open." With a final handshake, Thorn left them to their thoughts. Zara and Kel made their way to the shuttle bay where they would board separate ships to their homeworlds. As they stood at the threshold, the weight of their journey and the bond they had formed pressed heavily on them. Zara took a deep breath. "Kel, no matter where we end up, let's promise to stay in touch, to honor Rin and everything we've been through." Kel nodded, his eyes reflecting the same determination. "Absolutely. We're a team, Zara. Nothing can change that." With one last embrace, they boarded their respective shuttles, each carrying with them the lessons and memories of their incredible journey. As the shuttles departed, Zara and Kel looked back at the space station, knowing that their experiences on Earth had changed them forever. As the stars stretched out before them once more, they felt a renewed sense of purpose. Whether they chose to join the rescue corps or forge their own paths, they knew they would carry the spirit of survival, resilience, and friendship with them, wherever the stars might lead. Zara's shuttle descended through the atmosphere of her home planet, Torath, its vibrant cityscapes and lush landscapes coming into view. The familiar sights filled her with a mixture of relief and melancholy. The ordeal on Earth had changed her deeply, and she wondered how much her home had changed in her absence. As the shuttle landed at the spaceport, Zara disembarked, her eyes scanning the crowd for familiar faces. She was met by her family, their expressions a blend of joy and concern. Her mother, Lyra, rushed forward and enveloped her in a tight embrace. "Zara, thank the stars you're safe," Lyra exclaimed, tears streaming down her face. Zara hugged her mother tightly, the warmth of home bringing comfort. "I'm home, Mom. It's been a long journey." Her father, Jarek, and her younger brother, Taryn, joined the embrace, their relief palpable. They led her to a waiting vehicle, and as they drove through the bustling streets of Torath, Zara recounted her harrowing experiences on Earth. Her family listened in awe and horror, their respect for her courage growing with each word. Later that evening, as Zara settled into her childhood home, she found herself restless. The comfort of familiar surroundings was marred by the memories of survival and loss. She knew she couldn't return to her old life as if nothing had happened. Sitting by the window, she stared up at the night sky, the stars twinkling like beacons of possibility. She knew she had to honor Rin's memory and the bond she had formed with Kel. Her experiences had given her a new purpose, and she resolved to find a way to make a difference. Meanwhile, on Kel's home planet, Varnan, his shuttle touched down in the heart of the sprawling metropolis. The towering skyscrapers and bustling streets were a stark contrast to the wilds of Earth. As he stepped off the shuttle, he was greeted by his sister Lyra and a group of friends who had been anxiously awaiting his return. "Kel, you're alive," Lyra cried, throwing her arms around him. Kel hugged his sister tightly, his heart swelling with gratitude. "It's good to be home, Lyra. I've missed you all." His friends, a tight-knit group of fellow explorers and engineers, bombarded him with questions about his ordeal. As they made their way to a nearby cafe, Kel recounted the harrowing details of their survival on Earth, the battles they fought, and the bonds they forged. Later, as Kel sat in his childhood home surrounded by the comforts he had missed, he felt a growing sense of restlessness. The memories of Earth's challenges and Rin's sacrifice weighed heavily on his mind. He knew he couldn't simply return to his old life and ignore what he had experienced. Determined to honor Rin's memory and the resilience they had shown, Kel decided to reach out to Zara. He activated his comm device and sent a message, proposing a bold plan. "Zara, it's Kel. I can't stop thinking about everything we've been through. I believe we have a responsibility to use our experiences to help others. Let's meet and discuss joining the rescue corps. Together we can make a difference." Zara received the message as she sat by the window, lost in thought. Reading Kel's words, she felt a surge of determination. She knew he was right. Their journey on Earth had given them a unique perspective and strength that could be invaluable to others in need. She quickly responded, her resolve clear. "Kel, I feel the same way. Let's do it. Let's join the rescue corps and make a difference together." With their decision made, Zara and Kel prepared to embark on a new adventure, one that would take them beyond the stars and into the heart of danger, where they could use their hard-earned skills and resilience to save lives and uncover the mysteries of the universe. The legacy of their survival on the Death World would live on, guiding them as they faced new challenges and forged a path toward a brighter future. The Intergalactic Rescue Corps headquarters was an imposing structure of steel and glass, located on a neutral planet that served as a central hub for the organization's operations. The main hall buzzed with activity as agents and recruits from various species and planets moved through the facility, discussing missions, strategies, and reports. Zara and Kel arrived separately, but felt an immediate sense of relief and anticipation upon seeing each other again. They embraced warmly, the bond forged in the crucible of Earth's dangers still strong. "Zara," Kel said, smiling broadly, "it's good to see you." "You too, Kel," she replied, her eyes shining with determination. "Ready to make a difference?" "Absolutely," Kel responded. "Let's get started." They were soon introduced to their commanding officer, Commander Wren, a seasoned veteran with a stern demeanor and a wealth of experience. He led them to a briefing room where a holographic display showed the current missions and status reports. "Welcome to the Rescue Corps," Wren began, his voice authoritative yet welcoming. "Your experiences on Earth have proven your resilience and adaptability, qualities we highly value here. Before we assign you to a mission, you'll undergo a brief orientation and training to familiarize yourselves with our protocols and technology." Zara and Kel nodded, eager to begin their new roles. The orientation covered a range of topics, from the Rescue Corps' history and mission to the advanced equipment and techniques they would use. They trained alongside other recruits, learning to operate the various tools and weapons that would aid them in their missions. During a break, they met fellow recruits, including a formidable Qatari warrior named Jax and a tech-savvy Zorani named Lila. Both were impressed by Zara and Kel's tales of survival on Earth and quickly formed a camaraderie with them. "Earth sounds like a nightmare," Jax remarked, his mandibles clicking in curiosity. "You must have faced some incredible challenges." Zara nodded. "It was tough, but it taught us a lot about resilience and teamwork." Lila, her eyes wide with interest, added, "I can't wait to hear more about it. We can learn a lot from your experiences." The following days were intense as Zara and Kel underwent rigorous training exercises designed to simulate various rescue scenarios. They worked on honing their combat skills, medical knowledge, and problem-solving abilities. Their instructors pushed them to their limits, preparing them for the unpredictable and dangerous situations they would face in the field. One evening, after a particularly grueling training session, Zara and Kel sat together in the mess hall, discussing their future plans. "Joining the Rescue Corps was the right decision," Kel said, taking a sip of his drink. "I feel like we can really make a difference here." Zara nodded in agreement. "We owe it to Rin and everyone else who didn't make it. We survived for a reason, and now we can use our experiences to help others." Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden alarm. The lights in the mess hall dimmed as a red alert flashed on the screens. "Attention, all personnel," a voice announced over the intercom. "A distress signal has been received from the colony on Dravonis 4. All available units report to the briefing room immediately." Zara and Kel exchanged a determined look. This was it, their first real mission as members of the Rescue Corps. They quickly gathered their gear and headed to the briefing room, where Commander Wren was already outlining the situation. "A massive storm has hit Dravonis 4, causing widespread damage and trapping colonists. We have limited time to reach them before the situation worsens. Zara, Kel, you'll be part of the primary extraction team." The gravity of the situation hit them, but they felt ready. They had faced the worst Earth had to offer and come out stronger. Now they would use that strength to save others. As they boarded the rescue shuttle, the engines roared to life and the team prepared for departure. Zara looked at Kel, her expression fierce and determined. "Let's do this," she said. Kel nodded, a steely resolve in his eyes. Together. The shuttle lifted off, speeding toward Dravonis 4 and the next chapter of their incredible journey.